when you were a speaker?
Well, I think I'm much more mature than I was when I was speaker. I think that...
This is a long time ago.
Two things.
You've been out of office. You've been out of office so long. I'm not trying to tell you you're old. I mean, I'm a lot older too, but...
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate the fact you reminded me I'm not all that old, although you're the older too.
Thanks a lot.
Look, a couple things. I think, first of all, that being married to Calista has really helped a great deal and has changed my life and has given me a sense of fulfillment. Having Maggie and Robert as grandchildren has really, you know, a grandfatherly view of the world is somehow really different. I can't quite explain it, but I'll bet every person who's watching who's a grandparent knows what I'm talking about. It gives you a very different perspective on life. And I think, candidly, the recognition that I had of acceptance into the Catholic Church, the feeling of belonging to the Church has been a very, very comforting, very reconciling part of life. And I find myself at the Basilica every Sunday morning where Calista sings, and I just have such a sense of comfort that really has, I think, in a very significant way, calmed my life and given me a depth of reassurance I just didn't have.
I talked to you about some specific issues recently on radio, positions you've taken over the years that have come up now. It was in the Political piece today. For example, the ads you did with Nancy Pelosi, global warming positions, positions on a path to citizenship for people that have been in the country for a certain period of time, cap and tax, health care mandates. You want to take those issues on one by one? Do you stand by those positions? Do you regret doing that ad with Nancy Pelosi?
Well, look, I have a different answer in different circumstances. The ad with Nancy Pelosi was probably the dumbest thing I've done in recent years. I was trying to communicate that conservatives can care about the environment. All I did was make conservatives mad, and liberals didn't particularly like me. So there was a mistake, and I wouldn't go back and do it again, and I'm not going to try to defend it. I opposed cap and trade. I testified against it at the Energy and Commerce Committee, actually the same day that Al Gore testified for it. My testimony is on YouTube. People can see it and verify for themselves. At American Solutions, I led the effort to defeat cap and trade in the Senate, and we succeeded in defeating cap and trade. I think it's far too big a jump to go to cap and trade, and I'm deeply opposed to it. There are some things we disagree on, people are going to have to disagree on. I said something positive about part of the DREAM Act. Well, nobody ever stopped to say, what part was I talking about? If you are a foreigner and you join the American military and you serve honorably, it's a road to citizenship. Now, if you were somebody who came to the U.S. at 3 years of age and you're now 18, you technically can't join the American military. I thought that particular part of the DREAM Act to allow people to join the military, just as they could if they were in a foreign country, made sense, is honorable, and is good for the country and good for the citizen who does it. That's the part I was referring to.
What do you believe then? For those that may not have been around or paid close attention to politics in the years you were speaker, conversely, and I doubt the media will look into this part of your past, what do you think your greatest successes were that you'd want people to know about to counter, the negativity that is bound to come your way now that you're a frontrunner? What are you most proud of?
Look, we helped create the first Republican majority in 40 years, the first re-elected majority since 1928. We reformed welfare, the largest entitlement to be reformed so far. 2 out of 3 people went to work or went to school. Everyone agrees it was tremendously successful in improving the lives of those who've been trapped in dependency. We had the first tax cut in 16 years, the largest capital gains tax cut in American history. Unemployment dropped from 5.6 to 4.2%. We balanced the federal budget for 4 consecutive years, paid off $405 billion in debt. I insisted on strengthening the intelligence budget, and the 9/11 Commission said the Gingrich plus-up, that was their term, the Gingrich plus-up was the only increase in intelligence funding in the entire 90s.Ix the single numbers. When I became Speaker, the Congressional Budget Office said our 10-year deficit projection was $2.7 trillion. When I left office 4 years later, they said our surplus projection for 10 years was $2.3 trillion. That is a $5 trillion shift in the fiscal strength of the United States in 4 years, done while negotiating with a liberal Democrat in the White House.
So you don't agree with the president that we've become a bit lazy over the last couple of decades?
I think this president blames everybody but the person responsible for the problems, and that person is Barack Obama. And I think recovery will begin late on election night when people realize he's gone, the Democrats have lost the Senate, and America is open for business again.